Is teaching a strength of Ezra's?
No, I mean, Ezra knows what I want, what I'm looking for. He played for me enough years as a player, and he's been with me enough years now as a coach. So he knows what we're trying to get out of players and what we want them to be able to do and accomplish. So being able to provide players for the next level is very important. But you can't provide players for the next level unless you also, win some games. So being last in the league and providing us a player is not going to do it. He knows that, and but it doesn't mean they got to win the championship. But it means they got to be competitive game in and game out. So I feel very confident and happy with Ezra being the choice because I think that establishes good continuity from S2 to the Sounders.
In addition to S2 producing ideally MLS players, might it be a springboard for MLS coaches? Could this be a good thing for Ezra in that sense?
Yeah, it's also good. I mean, everybody wants to be a head coach and have a team under his belt. Brian Schmetzer's already had that opportunity, with the USL Sounders, and he's the number one assistant. And it just made sense for continuity's sake to have Ezra be that guy rather than bring somebody in from the outside who's got to get familiar with what we're trying to do, how we're trying to develop players. And I think anytime you can go within the organization, I think that speaks to the strength of the organization.
You mentioned going outside. Do you look outside for a new member of your staff now to replace what Ezra was doing with the first team?
Yeah, we'll be adding somebody to our staff. Who that is right now, I couldn't tell you. I've got a short list of some people that I want to talk to, and we'll see as we move down the line. But right now we got a bigger task at hand.
With Ezra coaching the reserve league, what was that? What did that provide him that he can implement here with us too?
Well, he's already worked with a lot of those guys, and he always had the task of working with some of the younger players and the defenders. So he's already doing that part of the job, and being able to work with the reserve team over the last three seasons, is really what this is all about. So it's just an extension into a different league.
Did you get out of these 3 days before this break what you had hoped to?
Yeah, we wanted to keep them moving. We wanted to get some guys the rest that they needed, and recuperate a little bit, and also make sure that we maintained our fitness over these 3 days.
Gidlin is finishing up with U.S. Soccer this week. Is there any concern that he may be fatigued for the upcoming game?
No, they have the game Friday night against Colombia, and then we'll see. But there's a chance that he might not be in the other game.
Today is Sounders' birthday, 7th birthday of joining MLS. Just what has this team been able to accomplish in those years?
First, I need to say happy birthday to the Sounders and all the Sounder fans. I didn't know we were the age of 7 today. Obviously, I think we have to remember that as a young club, I think we've accomplished an awful lot, and the growth of the club has been phenomenal in terms of what we've accomplished on the field. We've been very consistent, which I think speaks well for the club as well. And the other thing is just the continued support that the fans have given us. I think everybody was sort of waiting for the balloon to pop, or thinking, oh, when's this going to happen? What's going to happen when? And it just kept going and kept maintaining, and that's a tribute to the fans. So happy birthday to all of them.
With it being such a young club and being one of the only 3 with RSL and LA to make the playoffs every year for the last 6 years, just what does that say about this team?
Well, again, it's all about consistency, and one of the things you want to do is you want to be consistent. You don't want to have big up and down swings, because when you have big up and down swings, then then you start to question yourself. Then you've got to rebuild, and you've got to do things like that all the time. And I think we've been able to rebuild for sure, and add to our team, and at the same time maintain what we're trying to do. And yeah, there have been some seasons that have been better than others, and there's always phases in the season that are better than other phases in the season. But overall, our consistency has been there, and to be in the playoffs every year is something that not a lot of teams can point to. And even a team that's as good as the LA Galaxy, they had a series of times where they weren't there, and and when you're not there, then you really appreciate these times, because it makes you feel special being there.
A little bit off topic, but we're working on a story about Jamie Clark, the Washington coach. What's kind of your impression of him? What have you had with him in the past? Also, him and his dad.
Well, Jamie, I think Jamie's done a good job at University of Washington. I think he's a good coach. I've known Jamie's dad for a long time. He was one of the guys that I learned from, Bobby Clark, when when I was a young coach, and I just remember buying him a beer and asking him how to play a 4-4-2 and how to defend, and and making sure I didn't drink any beer so I could listen and take it all in, which was hard at the time. Yeah. But he's had a great mentor in his dad. He had a good career at Stanford playing for him, and as a coach, he's done really well. He was doing really well at Creighton, and I know it was hard for him to leave that program at that time because he felt he had a Final Four team. But I think what he's done now at the University of Washington over the last 2 years has shown that they've really become consistent. They've become one of the top teams, top collegiate teams in the country, always in the top 10, in top 20 for sure, but in the top 10, and hopefully they'll make a deep run this year in the playoffs.